Jackie Wilson, renowned as Mr. Excitement, was one of the most influential R&B and soul artists of the 20th century, celebrated for hits like Lonely Teardrops, Higher and Higher, and To Be Loved. Despite his immense talent and success, his life was marked by financial difficulties, legal controversies, and tragic circumstances that have fueled speculation about the possible involvement of organized crime in his career and death. Wilson's career flourished in the 1950s and 1960s, but it was closely managed by figures alleged to have ties to organized crime. His manager, Nat Tarnopol, and Brunswick Records, his longtime label, were implicated in financial scandals, including embezzlement and fraud. Although these allegations did not directly involve Wilson's death, they cast a shadow over the financial exploitation he endured. By the end of his life, Wilson, despite earning millions, was left in dire financial straits, raising questions about mismanagement and possible coercion. Mismanagement allegations. Nat Tarnopol, Jackie Wilson's longtime manager and the president of Brunswick Records, controlled nearly every aspect of Wilson's career. While Tarnopol helped Wilson achieve stardom, allegations of financial mismanagement and exploitation plagued their relationship. These allegations form the foundation for foul play theories. Withholding earnings. Tarnopol allegedly misappropriated millions of dollars in royalties owed to Wilson, leaving him financially destitute despite decades of hit records. Predatory contracts. Wilson was reportedly locked into contracts that heavily favored Tarnopol and Brunswick Records, ensuring that Wilson had little control over his career or finances. Dependency. Tarnopol's management style created a relationship of dependency, with Wilson relying on him for income, bookings, and career decisions. This dependency made it nearly impossible for Wilson to sever ties without significant financial and professional repercussions. Motives for foul play. Wilson's growing dissatisfaction with his financial arrangement may have posed a threat to Tarnopol and Brunswick Records. Potential exposure. If Wilson had pursued legal action or exposed Tarnopol's financial dealings, it could have resulted in significant financial and reputational damage to both Tarnopol and Brunswick Records. Maintaining control. Ensuring that Wilson remained dependent or silenced may have been a calculated move to protect the financial interests of those benefiting from his exploitation. Brunswick Records and the Chicago outfit. Brunswick Records, under Tarnopol's leadership, was rumored to have ties to the Chicago outfit, one of the most powerful organized crime syndicates in the United States. This connection raises significant questions about the potential role of organized crime in Wilson's decline. Money laundering. Brunswick Records was suspected of being a front for laundering money, using its legitimate music operations to cover illicit financial activities. Artist exploitation. Mob involvement in the music industry often involved the exploitation of artists through unfair contracts, intimidation, and withholding royalties. Potential mob retaliation. Some theories suggest that Jackie Wilson may have been targeted by mob interests. Financial disputes. If Wilson had questioned or resisted the financial arrangements controlled by Tarnopol and Brunswick, it could have put him at odds with mob-linked individuals. Silencing a threat. Wilson's potential to expose financial improprieties or mob involvement in Brunswick Records may have made him a liability. The timing of his collapse onstage incident. Wilson's heart attack on September 29, 1975, occurred during a period of growing tension between him and his management over financial matters. While heart attacks can result from natural causes, the timing of Wilson's collapse has fueled speculation, stress, and pressure. Wilson's ongoing financial struggles, combined with the stress of his relentless performance schedule, likely contributed to his health issues. However, some theorists argue that external factors, such as poisoning or drugging, could have exacerbated his condition. Lack of medical transparency. The absence of a thorough investigation or autopsy into Wilson's condition after his collapse has left room for doubt about whether the heart attack was purely natural. Neglect and medical concerns. Failure to address health issues. Wilson's declining health in the years leading up to his collapse was reportedly ignored by those managing him. Signs of illness. Wilson showed signs of stress and exhaustion, but his demanding performance schedule was not adjusted. Medical neglect. Critics argue that Tarnopol and others close to Wilson failed to ensure he received proper medical care or support even after his collapse. Deliberate neglect? Some theories suggest that Wilson's health issues may have been intentionally neglected to maintain control over him. Exacerbating dependency, keeping Wilson in a vulnerable state physically, financially, and emotionally, may have served the interests of those exploiting him. Lack of support. Post-collapse, Tarnopol and Brunswick Records provided little financial or medical assistance after Wilson's heart attack, raising questions about their intentions. Legacy of unanswered questions. Was Wilson silenced? Some theorists argue that Jackie Wilson's collapse and subsequent incapacitation may have been part of a deliberate effort to silence him. Preventing legal action. Wilson's incapacitation ensured that he could not take legal action against Tarnopol or Brunswick Records. Protecting financial interests. Ensuring Wilson's continued dependency preserved the financial arrangements that benefited Tarnopol and potentially mob-linked entities. Why wasn't more investigated? The lack of a thorough investigation into Wilson's collapse and financial exploitation leaves significant gaps in the historical record. Failure of oversight. The systemic failure to protect artists like Wilson underscores the broader inequities of the music industry. Intentional suppression. Some theorists suggest that powerful interests may have actively suppressed inquiries into Wilson's condition and finances. Conclusion. The theories of foul play in Jackie Wilson's decline and death underscore the complex and often predatory dynamics of the music industry during his era. While official accounts attribute his collapse to natural causes, the context of his life, marked by financial exploitation, mob influence, and systemic racism, leaves room for doubt. Whether through neglect, intentional harm, or systemic inequities, Jackie Wilson's story remains a tragic example of the vulnerabilities faced by artists in an industry driven by profit and power.